Today I'm going to show you how a cheap drugstore find can help you make the prettiest blended backgrounds on your rocks. We're going to start by using Liquitex gesso to create a background and kind of a base coat on the rock. I'm using the shape of the rock, so most of them are going to be kind of oval. There's one that's kind of triangular, and just kind of going not quite to the edge, but creating this nice little spot where our color is going to go. Next, I'm going to use masking fluid around the natural part of the stone that we didn't base coat, so to create a border that will protect the rock from getting the paint on it when we do the blended background with the makeup sponges. I'll link another video above and in the description using masking fluid and Aiuli watercolors. That's really fun. Now I'm just going to get out my drugstore makeup sponges. These are really affordable at Walmart, on Amazon, at Walgreens, anywhere. And then I'm going to put my 3 colors in dots on a paper plate. This is a leftover cake plate from the graduation party. And then I'm just going to kind of dab in it and then dab off to the side to get the excess paint off. So get enough on that sponge that you feel there's good enough coverage. And then once it's dabbed off, I'm just going to go straight to my rock and start dabbing. So it's kind of like those round spongy daubers you've seen me use, but this is a makeup sponge. It's more affordable. They're easy to obtain anywhere that you need them, and then you can kind of play around with how you're going to stripe the colors on here, and you kind of can keep going back and forth. Sometimes you might want to let some of this dry a little better. You can use the other thinner end of the makeup sponge. Like my pink stripe in the middle was not as thick as I wanted it to, so I dipped that thinner end into the pink and kind of brightened up the pink stripe. And on this rock, I'm going to do some diagonal stripes, so multiple layers of the stripes, but just kind of place them on. So I'm kind of getting my guide on here, and then I'm just going to keep going back in with more and more paint and just blending. So it's kind of a trial and error, I guess. You just keep going, playing around with the colors. You can angle the sponge one way or another to get more of one color, like on the edges. If I want the blue or the green, I can angle the sponge to make sure I'm getting more green and not messing up the stripes in the middle. I am definitely out of practice with this. I haven't done it in a long time, so I feel like this is not as like perfect example quality, but I hope that gives you some confidence that you can just kind of play with it and you can keep going back in. If you keep going back in, if the paint's too wet underneath, you could kind of lift it, but it's kind of foolproof in that way, that you can keep going back in and messing around and playing with the width of your stripes. The other thing I would say is if it's too intimidating to do multiple colors on one sponge, you could do one sponge for each color. You could do a green one, a pink one, a blue one, or whatever color combination you choose, and you could go in and kind of dab the sponges and get those stripes in one color at a time. That might be maybe a super beginner step if this feels a little bit too intimidating. And then what I would add with that is if you do that, maybe take another blank sponge, a clean one, blank sponge, and you could use that to be kind of your blender and go in and kind of blend between the colors to create that kind of ombre blended background look. There is a creator you can look up on Instagram and Facebook, and I believe she's on YouTube too. It's called Kayla Escobar Designs, and she does these blended backgrounds so beautifully. Like, it's kind of like ASMR just to watch her do it. So if you want to see a pro, not just me trial and erroring it, look her up and check her out. She is really amazing with these blended backgrounds and does them with some really beautiful bold colors. So that would be another place I would look as a resource if you like these blended backgrounds. Also, if you're feeling wasteful with the sponges, know that you can just snip the end off with the paint and then you have another clean sponge. You can keep snipping until you're down to no more sponge. So that's another way to save on the sponges. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove that masking fluid. So I'm just kind of rolling it in my finger. I don't think I let mine dry all the way. I got a little impatient and started painting right away, but it feels like kind of like rubber cement, like a thicker version of rubber cement. If you ever worked with that back in the day, I don't know if people use it anymore, but like to do scrapbooking or to put photos on something, it kind of rolls off like dried rubber cement, but a little thicker. You have to work at it a little harder, but I get a nice little pile of the little roly-polies that are rolling off, but you can see how it kind of helped keep an edge, and so I didn't have to be as careful with the blending when I was using the sponges. This is also the first time I've ever used it with acrylic paint. I've only ever used it with watercolor, and it works really well with watercolor because watercolor is lighter, not as thick. And so definitely check out the video I linked creating with masking fluid and watercolor because it's a lot of fun, but it worked pretty well with this as well. I do have a little bit of edges that are a little rough, but I think overall it did exactly what I wanted it to do. I was able to just go in and be a little haphazard with the sponges, and then I can clean it up afterwards, but it's a lot easier to clean up when it's just a little bit of rough edges versus, really wonkiness from the sponges. And so I'm going to clean up those edges with my nail drill. This is a really fine grit sanding bit for the nail drill, and it worked. It just took a little longer because it was such fine, kind of like fine sandpaper. So you can just see how I'm just going around the edge and just kind of cleaning up those edges and making it a nice smooth line around the outside of the rock. And then I did end up switching to a more rough grit sanding bit just for speed. It was a little faster when it was rough, but I love this stinking nail drill. It's so useful for things like this, when I've made mistakes when I'm writing, if I misspell something, or if I just don't like the way a letter looks, you can go in and kind of sand it off with very close precision, because you can hold it like a pen and just kind of get in there and, get what you want off and then kind of fix your mistake, if that's a thing. It also works really well for sanding off if you get little drip drops or like a rough spot from resin. It works really well to get that with precision and not, have to put too much elbow grease into it. Like I used to use, I think it was like a horseshoe file for horses' hooves. And, you really had to work at it, but then make sure you weren't hurting your design. Now I'm just going to write on these. They're perfect for making quote rocks, or if you wanted to draw on them, but I wanted to make these for our inaugural book club, and our first book was The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. And so I wanted to make little rocks to take to everyone in the book club, and I was literally making them same day. So I feel like my filming, I may have forgotten things. I didn't get good pictures of them at the end because I was in a rush to seal them and get out the door to book club. But I used print and script, and then I used the faux calligraphy trick of thickening up my downstrokes on the script. So that's what you see me doing here. Everywhere that the pen went in a downward stroke, I'm thickening up those lines, and it gives the illusion of what you would get with a real calligraphy pen if I was a real calligrapher. So I wrote "let them" on the front, and then on the back I put "and let me," because that's kind of the catchphrase of the book. So I wanted to give everyone one of those. Then I took a thicker white paint pen and I made a thick white border around, because I wanted to pick up on the lettering, kind of tie it all together. So I did a thick white border around the edge of the rocks, and then I took extreme hologram glitter paint and put it over the border to give it a little sparkle. So just a really simple design idea. These are good to mass produce if you wanted to do a bunch of quote rocks, or maybe you wanted to do hearts or flowers, or little doodles on them. They're cute for that too. It's just a really easy and fun thing to do to create your blended backgrounds. If you want to see another way to create blended backgrounds with a paintbrush, check out the video I have for you on the screen right now, and you'll see how I do it with just a regular paintbrush. Thanks so much for stopping by to watch, and I'll see you next time. Take care.